Trump's big, beautiful, billionaire ass-licking bill has finally woken blue states up. Since his first term, and now his second, Trump has been gutting the economy and leaving blue states to carry red states on their backs. But now there's real pushback. Innovative lawmakers are plotting ways to take a bite out of Trump's agenda right at the knees. All those states' rights bootstrappers, turns out they're living off blue state generosity. California, New York, Massachusetts, and even Connecticut are funding the very red states screaming loudest about federal overreach. The irony? The supposed champions of self-reliance are the biggest moochers. Meanwhile, Trump's been playing the dictator, withholding congressionally approved funds and watching the Supreme Court sit on its hands. But blue state leaders are done waiting, and now they're borrowing a page right out of Trump's own playbook. Remember, nobody stiffs people quite like Trump, except maybe the red states themselves.
I know a lot about overtime. I'd hated to give overtime. I hated it. I'd get other people, I shouldn't say this, but I'd get other people in I wouldn't pay. I hated.
You know, Trump brags about screwing workers and contractors all the time. So it's only fitting that blue states are now thinking about doing the same to him. And why shouldn't they? So 2 state legislators have said enough is enough. They're pushing to withhold payments to the federal government whenever DC tries to stiff them. And it's not just about making noise. These lawmakers are getting creative. If the federal government can play deadbeat, why can't the states? Now, welcome to the new game, collections agency politics. And the rules? Make Trump pay, or at least make him sweat. As for whether it'll work, well, that's where things get even more interesting.
You hear a lot of pundits urging Democrats to fight fire with fire. Now local lawmakers in mostly blue states are trying to do just that. They want to withhold funds owed to the federal government if these lawmakers determine the federal government is delinquent in funding owed to them. The untested approach is being tried in a handful of states, including Maryland and Washington. Joining us now, the Maryland House Majority Leader David Moon and Washington State Senator Manka Dhingra. Thank you both so much for being with us on this July 4th. Tell me, Leader Moon, did I explain that correctly? I know you've introduced 2 bills on this issue. How would it all work?
Fighting fire with fire? Don't forget the asbestos suit. If you appreciate this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, we're basically in unprecedented times here where I introduced bills to treat the federal government as deadbeat debtors and basically have Maryland act like a collections agency. So we're talking about withholding funds that's owed to the feds and putting liens on their property.
Explain to us the impact that this would have on states, and if this legislation were successful, what then it would look like.
Oh, Trump, he just hates paying bills. He must be allergic to the invoices.
Absolutely. We're at a time when the federal government is arbitrarily holding funds that are due to the states. For example, just recently, our federal government withheld $137 million from our schools. And this is money that goes to help our children with after-school programs and with enrichment. And having a bill that actually withholds federal dollars from the federal government will enable Washingtonians to get the services that they need, that they're entitled to under Washington law.
Imagine doing that. Imagine stiffing kids. Peak mega governance right there.
So it's about making sure that we can continue to keep people receiving mental health services, physical services, housing, and things that they are entitled to. And so we have to make sure that when decisions are made in an arbitrary fashion, the states are able to stand up and fight back.
And mental health services? Well, man, there's something Mar-a-Lago could use.
State Senator, I have about a minute left, but I'm going to tell you something you already know, which is you have legal experts who say this is never going to work. These bills face hurdles, particularly when it comes to the supremacy clause in the Constitution. It clearly establishes federal precedents over state law. Is this actually about getting it done, or is this facing the reality that we now live in an attention economy where you have to at least provide a sense of what a solution might look like, regardless of whether or not it is actually feasible?
So here's what makes this one a little bit different. Blue states aren't just talking, they're getting organised. Trump and his Supreme Court cronies want to pretend the rules don't apply to them. But people are waking up. The old system, where red states take and blue states pay, now that's running on fumes. And the pushback is only just beginning. Okay, sure enough, legal experts can wring their hands and scream about the supremacy clause. But the reality is, every major change starts with someone refusing to play by the rules in a broken system. There's a fight rising in the US, and Trump knows it. He's running scared, because he sees the tide turning and knows what happens when the people he's stiffed, tricked, cheated and conned for years finally turn the tables. Let's hope more states find the nerve to follow suit, because nothing terrifies a cheap conman like Trump quite like a mark who refuses to pay up. If you like what we're doing here, just click one of these videos. Go on, treat yourself. Let me know your thoughts below. Agree or disagree, I'd still like to hear them. And if you fancy helping out, hit subscribe and give us a wee thumbs up for the algorithm. Really appreciate it, folks. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.